Top AI skills to master the current job market. The very first one going to be prompt engineering. So, what is this prompt engineering? Now, we all know you are asking the right question to get a right response. We call it as prompt engineering. So, where you are using this prompt engineering, you're using this prompt engineering in ChatGPT, Gemini, you're using it in Claude, in all the different platforms, wherever you are interacting with an AI. You need to master prompt engineering, the way of asking the right questions. So now, in order to do that, you have different strategies of prompt engineering. So like zero shot prompt, zero shot prompt. You got few shot prompt. You got chain of thought prompt strategy. You got tree of thought prompt strategy. So you got dynamic few shot prompt. And you will be using one more thing called as self correction prompting. So there is another strategy called self correction prompting. And we will be trying to, if I'm keep on using the same prompts multiple times, I will be storing it as a prompt template. So like these are the various examples we do it in our day-to-day life. So now you need to master these different strategies of prompt engineering. And then next one is called as context engineering. What is this? This is context engineering. So very simple. Context engineering is, now we all are aware of Gemini or ChatGPT, etc. Now I'm able to leverage the various files. I can upload a file. I'm able to add files from a drive or a photos. I can import a code. So now by using, for example, I can upload a file and I can start asking questions from that particular file. You are providing an external document to your LLM model. So we call it as context engineering. So if you are able to provide, what is this? If we provide external document as a reference, and from that, if you are able to start asking questions, we are able to call it as context engineering. So you are asking your LLM model to write a code. Now, before writing a code, you are providing a context. You are providing a huge code repo. So based on that, it can start mimicking the code similar to your code repo. So we call it as what? Context engineering, which is very important. Take Cursor, take GitHub Copilot, take any of this, they rely on what? A lot of context. The better context you provide, the better they're able to provide the right answers. So why you are using prompt engineering or context engineering is these LLM models are currently hallucinating. So to reduce their hallucination, you are playing with the right prompts, the input, and you are providing the right external data so that they are able to perform well in a response. So we call it as prompt engineering and a context engineering. And the third one, the third skill which you need to master is AI agentic workflow automation. What is it? AI agentic workflow automation. What is agents? So very simple. Even if you go back to this Gemini, here you got tools. What I can say, I can ask my LLM to create an image, or I can ask my LLM to perform a deep research, or to create a music, or to perform a guided learning, or to create a video. Now, what it going to do? It's going to use various tools to perform certain actions. So now, when your LLM models are trying to trigger various actions, for example, I'm asking my LLM to write a content and then to create a diagram. So that is called agentic behavior. I'm asking my LLM to write a code and to execute that code. We call it as agentic behavior. If your AI models are able to do certain actions, we call that as agentic behavior. Now, even this Gemini models, Claude models, ChatGPT, they have the tools connection. So, which is called as what? Agentic AI behavior. Now, this agentic AI workflow automation is, let's say I want to perform a video. For example, I want to automate my YouTube content creation. So then what I will be doing, I want to write a script. So the script writing going to be done by, for example, let's say Gemini is writing me the script and the script to be converted into audio. In order to convert the script to an audio, or let's say I want to research a topic. So to research a topic, I'm using Gemini to research a topic based on Reddit and then to create a script. And the script, we are trying to say, I'm giving my own external document, how I write a script. So based on it is mimicking my script. And that script is uploaded into, for example, 11 Labs. I'm uploading it into 11 Labs to convert into an audio file. So which mimics my voice. And that audio file need to be uploaded into HeyGen so that I need to create a video. And that video to be exported. So there are series of steps which I need to perform by using various AI tools. Now to automate this behavior, I'm able to use AI workflow automation tools. So what are these AI workflow automation tools? Like Zapier, you're able to use Zapier You are able to use N8N, you're able to use Make, you're able to use Langflow in order to develop this agentic AI workflows. If I want to create various automations, I'm a businessman, I want to automate my daily means like work, means maybe I'm getting leads. I want to automate my lead to sales process, or I want to automate my Facebook process. I want to automate my uploading a photo, or I need to automate my, if someone comments on my review, how I want to send a link to them. So I want to automate this by using this agentic AI workflow automation tools. I'm able to do it using Zapier, N8N, Make, Langflow. And this is very important skill if you are a business owner, or if you are a solo business owner, if you want to develop various automations, or you are into marketing, you want to automate your marketing process. Yes, this AI agentic workflow automation is good. And if you want to go beyond this, even more customized, for example, I want to do this kind of workflow automations within an Amazon app, or within Flipkart, or within Zara. For example, if I want to buy a product, I want to make Zara agentic behavior. Then I want to do it not with the help of these tools. So I want to automate within Zara app, or within Facebook app, or within Flipkart app, or within Amazon app. I want to do it. Then you need to use coding. So if you want to do with coding, we call it as AI agentic development. So this is AI agentic development through coding. So how you are doing it through coding? By using various Python-based libraries like LangChains, by Lang Graphs, by Crew AI, and by Autogen. So this is through coding. So now you are using Python, and through Python you are trying to develop them. So LangChains, Lang Graphs, Crew AI, Autogen. And this is a high paid skill if you are trying to be a software engineer, or you are trying to be a data scientist, or you are trying to be a data analyst, data engineer. You have already a good Python knowledge. Then if you are able to learn this AI agentic development through coding, that's going to be a game changer. Having the skills in your resume going to be a game changer. So companies are really looking for this kind of skills. And after this, you have one more skill, we call it as RAG. What is RAG? Is Retrieval Augmented Generation. Now see this, even if you look at it, if you are able to upload a file, so uploading an XML file and passing that to an LLM is basically a kind of, internally it runs on a RAG architecture. So RAG architecture basic purpose is what? Now you are having an entire code repo, how well you are storing that code repo, how well you are feeding that to an LLM model, the entire architecture around feeding this external document or an external data to an LLM model is designed with the help of RAG architecture, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So for RAG architecture, you need to learn concepts like embedding. So what is embedding? Your LLM model is going to consume alphabetical data. You are trying to provide a prompt in alphabets, but your LLM models doesn't know alphabets. They know the data in numbers. The process of converting alphabetical data into numbers, we call it as embeddings. And these embeddings need to be stored at some place. So we call it as vector database. So now we have a regular database like MySQL and all of that. So in a regular MySQL database, you are able to retrieve the data with the help of SQL commands. We call it as DQL, data query language. So here in the vector database, you're going to collect the similar documents. For example, I'm asking what is Gen AI? I want to collect only data related to generative AI. Or I'm writing a code. I want to get a code only related to a web development, or related to a front end, or related to a database. So in order to pull the data only related to that particular divisions, you need to get only the similar documents based on the prompt someone written, based on the prompt, the similar documents to be extracted from a huge amount of external data. We call it as vector similarity, or we call it as semantic similarity. So we are able to pull out the similar documents based on the meaning of the prompt and meaning of various words available in your external document. So that is achieved with the help of vector database. So in order to know that, you need to understand concepts like Pinecone, you need to understand concepts like Chroma, you need to understand concepts like FICE, you need to understand concepts like Waviate. These are all different vector databases. You need to know about RAG, embedding, vector databases, and then within RAG you have different types. You got advanced RAG concept. And again, you got recently, these RAGs are getting popular: self-RAG, corrective RAG, agentic RAG. So these are very important skills. So now you need to, again, this RAG related concepts. If you are trying to learn AI, so to do or to use tools, for example, I'm a content writer. Is there a need of learning the skills? No. So I'm a content creator where I want to do various automations. Is there a need of learning this agentic AI development through coding? No. So I want to be an AI engineer, or I want to be a Gen AI engineer, or I want to be an agentic AI engineer. Who is this people? They develop systems around AI. So they develop applications around AI. So now if you want to be that, then you need to learn this RAG concepts. You need to learn this AI agentic development through coding. You need to understand this particular concepts, which are very, very essential. And after learning this RAG and AI agentic development, you need to understand one more concept, which we are calling it as fine tuning. Fine tuning LLM models. So now this is very important. So now what is meant by fine tuning your LLM models is, now you are trying to work on your LLM models. Now you are improving or you are reducing the hallucination through RAG, or you are reducing the hallucination through prompt engineering. Now even still, by doing prompt engineering or RAG, the performance is not getting reduced. Now I want to have an LLM model which going to sound only for a healthcare. So I want to perform a question and answering LLM model for healthcare, or a question and answering LLM model for an insurance, question and answering LLM model for a content like this. Then we will be fine tuning those LLM models. So for this, you need to have a knowledge of machine learning. So in order to perform fine tuning, you need to know knowledge of machine learning. You need to know knowledge of deep learning. You need to know knowledge of TensorFlow, PyTorch, and even you need to know certain concepts like AWS, Azure, or GCP. So you will be doing this fine tuning on cloud. You need to understand concepts like what is a neural network. You need to understand what is reinforcement learning. You need to understand what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning, all these concepts. You need to understand about scaling law in order to perform it. You need to understand about compute power. All of these are very essential. So if your goal is to build your own customized model, you need to know about fine-tuning your LLM model. So like in order to perform fine-tuning LLM models, you need to know these concepts: machine learning, deep learning, TensorFlow, AWS, neural networks, reinforcement learning, supervised learning, scaling law. All of these concepts are very, very essential. And then apart from this, we got one more. We call it as multi-model AI. So what is this? Multi-model AI. So what is meant by multi-model? So initially we got text-to-text AI models. So if you are giving text data, it's going to generate a text. You got vision models. If you are able to give an image, it is able to generate an image. If you are able to give an image, it is able to generate a video. Now we got multi-models. What are multi-models? Any data to any data generation. So now currently Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, they are multi-models. If you can upload any data, you can upload a text, you can upload an audio, you can upload a video, and you can ask that models to generate an image, generate an audio, generate anything. So now we call them as multi-model AI. So that's what you are trying to perform. And then you need to understand about one more. We call it as AI tool stacking. So what is another skill? So now we call it as AI tool stacking. So what is meant by AI tool stacking? You are trying to connect multiple AI tools and you are trying to perform an action. Now this is comes into agentic AI workflow automation. Now here what I'm doing, I'm trying to use multiple tools. For example, to write a script, I'm using Gemini. In order to create an audio, I'm using 11 Labs. In order to, for example, create the video, I'm using Hagen. And then I'm trying to push it into Premiere, or I'm able to push it into Opus Clip. So now I'm using multiple AI tools in order to perform an automation. And how you are doing automation? You are doing automation using workflow automation tools, using mostly a native. So this is called as what? AI tool stack. So now this is not important. So like if you are learning already AI workflow automation, already you are able to perform this AI tool stacking. And apart from it, if you are trying to be an AI engineer, agentic AI engineer, you need to learn one more concept, which we are calling it as deployment, or we are able to call MLOps, or we call it as LLMOps. So this is also a very important skill. So why? You are developing all of this AI stuff and all of it, and then you are taking it to the production. If you are trying taking it to the production, you need to learn about MLOps or LLMOps. There you are trying to do all of this using AWS, Azure, or GCP, where you will be doing through Jenkins, where you are doing it through Kubernetes, where you are doing it through Dockers. So again, this is not for productivity people. This is for developers. If I want to be an AI developer or agentic AI developer, then these are the kind of skills you are learning. And apart from it, you need to master one more thing called as programming. So now this you need to be good with Python or SQL. So like this is mandatory if you are getting into the space of agentic development. So like then learning about Python and SQL plays a crucial role. So now these are the kind of skills which you need to learn. Prompt engineering, context engineering, AI, agentic workflow automation, and you are learning about your agentic AI development through coding, then you are mastering LangChains, LangGraphs, Glue AI, AutoGen. And if you are trying to work on RAG, you are learning about embeddings, vector database, advanced RAG, self RAG, corrective RAG agentic. You are learning about Pinecone, Chroma, FICE, Waviate. And if you are learning about multimodal, any data to any data, AI tool stacking. In case if you are into productivity, AI tool stacking is important. And deployment, in case if you are into AI development, into AI engineer roles and all of this, AI development like using MLOps or LLMOps, Azure, AWS and all of this. And you are learning about fine-tuning LLM models, learn mastering LangChain, machine learning, deep learning, TensorFlow, AWS, Azure, so on and so forth. You are trying to master it. And then if you are trying to learn, you can learn one more skill. We call it as AI-powered SaaS development. So what exactly meant by AI powered SaaS development is you are not even getting into a job. Now you want to build various AI platforms or various AI applications. You are able to give them as a service. So where they are able to pay and they are able to use your services. So mostly when you are getting into a job, you are developing various AI powered SaaS development, you are doing it. So if you want to start your own company also, you are able to start a company around AI powered SaaS development. For example, I'm able to take a data from OpenAI or from Claude or from Gemini, and maybe it is doing, if you are able to pay some money, $2 or $3, it is able to create resumes. It is able to create certain templates. You are building various applications around AI where you are able to give a subscription plan or you are able to sell to someone else. Now, this is if you want to start your own company, by using all of the skills, you're able to develop what AI powered SaaS development. So these are some of the skills which you can have it, and for, not for 2026, for the next 5 years, these skills going to be most relevant and most in demand. So now having these skills, what happens? So now people going to consider, instead of hiring a person without any AI skills, it's better to hire a person with AI skills. So you can be into any role. Upskilling into AI going to be one of the best decision to make in 2026. In case if you have any doubts or any guidance if you need, the links are in the description. You can book a one-on-one call. I will be helping you. Thank you so much.